Hi, it's Anna from the Heartbeat Hive. Today, I want to talk about gratitude and perspective in relation to flow. Before I do that, I do offer private coaching. You can find the details in my bio link or somewhere in the description below. Okay, so gratitude. There's a lot of meditation apps and gurus and teachers who all recommend a gratitude practice. And yes, it is an amazing, amazing tool. But I want to think about gratitude in the context of flow states. In a gratitude practice, you are asked to find evidence in your mind of something that has already happened or a feeling that you are appreciative for. Now, let's say you have felt the feeling while doing a certain activity or receiving a gift or having a conversation with someone, and that is in the past, right? So you are referencing a state of mind in the gratitude practice. Why am I talking about this way? Because I talk to a lot of high performers and creative people who love flow, okay? But the way they talk about it and reference it is in referencing the highest point of flow. There are 4 stages to the flow cycle. There's struggle, release, flow, and recovery. What they're referencing in their mind is only the good stuff. They're thinking about how great it is to be in the zone and creating and the blissful feeling of being totally, engulfed in what you're doing. And yes, this is amazing. It is also part of the addictive nature of flow. And so I want to kind of take this apart and really look at this idea of gratitude within the context of flow, but also perspective. Okay, so the reason we can have gratitude for something is because we know what the contrast feeling feels like. So when we are grateful for a gift, we also know what it's like not to receive a gift. When we are grateful for something working out for us, we also know what it feels like when something does not work out for us. So, what I'm getting at is that we have to have contrast and duality in order to experience gratitude. But we also have to have contrast and the understanding of peaks and valleys on our journey and inside the flow cycle. We can't have flow without struggle. We can't have flow without recovery. We can't have struggle without recovery. If we do, we are very likely to be in burnout. And I work with a lot of people who are in burnout, and we work together in order to help them start getting better routines and understanding their own flow cycle so they can work better and stop crashing. But let's return to perspective and within gratitude. If we can understand that we are always going to have peaks and valleys, that within our work as creative people, entrepreneurs, parents, whatever, we are always going to have ups and downs. Those are inevitable. I don't care what guru or get rich quick, schemes are out there. There is always going to be some sort of effort and certainly a contrast in your life. So I'm encouraging you to embrace the contrast. Embrace the contrast as an avenue and part of understanding gratitude. Because once you can zoom back out and see that you're just on the journey, it may feel like a struggle now, but you also can experience the success. It's when we get caught up inside of the struggle, seeing it as this is never going to end, this always happens, and start attaching it to our identity even. So, gratitude. It's our mind looking for evidence of ways for us to lean toward positivity. Think about this. If that's what gratitude is, that's what it is to me. Tapping into a flow state as well, a former state that I felt that's positive. If we look at that on the opposite end of the spectrum, gratitude has the same functionality and mechanics as complaining, right? So gratitude is looking for the positive, looking for that evidence in your mind. And complaining is seeing the evidence on the negative side and then expanding upon it. So if you find that you have a hard time with gratitude, understand that if you're really good at complaining, it's the same type of functionality. If you can learn to swing the pendulum over to the more positive side, you will be able to get into gratitude. And it takes discipline, it takes practice. But most of all, it requires perspective. I cannot know my greatest bliss without also not understanding what rock bottom is. Maybe the extremes aren't quite that, far apart for you, but the contrast you understand. All right, so I am encouraging you to work on a gratitude practice and understand that you're tapping into a former state, a state of mind, a feeling, a being, an experience that already happened. And in this way, it can happen again, which is really, really great. That is something that can be directing you toward hope and faith and ambition and drive and this impetus, this movement forward. Whereas complaining can drag you down and pull you backward and direct you in a way that is not a forward motion. So, when you find yourself complaining, see if you can flip those thoughts into gratitude. So, for example, let's say I'm complaining that something is taking too long. Well, I understand the flow cycle, and I know that the reward center in my brain needs an effort for me to receive that payoff in my brain, chemically and emotionally and mentally. So, I can see the struggle as a good thing. Okay, this is a little hard right now, but it's going to pay off. I just keep working at it. Where people get lost is in having patience. They want it now. And unfortunately, that's not exactly how it works for the most part. There are miraculous things and things do happen overnight. But when you speak to people, let's say you speak to someone who is seemingly a success overnight, when you really talk to them, ask them how many thousands of times they have done something, how many times they have repeated a skill or attempted something. Most of them who are very, very, very successful have repeated those actions and gotten that direct experience and feedback to where that is how their skill improved and their confidence to keep going no matter what. All right, that's it for today. I hope this has been helpful, and I will talk to you very soon.